Welcome to the Little Life Lessons podcast with me, Tasha The Moonchild. Let's see what life lesson I've learnt in this episode and how it can hopefully help you too. A few weeks ago, I was, quite frankly, in a shit mood. I was feeling down, I was feeling like the whole world and everybody in it was against me, all because of one day. So I'd had a shitty day at work and lost my temper. Amazon KDP had closed my account without warning, without explaining why, without giving me any opportunity to appeal. So I suddenly had a journaling business without being able to sell journals. I was tired, I felt unsupported, and I was generally just pissed off and sad. Now, in the past, I would have done one of two things on the back of that. So I either would have wallowed in it for days and days, getting more and more agitated, getting more and more angry about what had happened, convince myself that the whole universe is against me, that I'll never be happy, I'll never be good enough, you know, the usual, full on, doom and gloom, spiralling for days at a time. Or do the other thing and push it down and just pretend that it wasn't bothering me at all. Push it down, carry on until eventually I would pop over something really, really small that definitely didn't warrant the full tirade that it receives. So today's life lesson is about the third way that I've discovered to deal with days like that, in the hope that it helps you know that there's a better and a third way to deal with those kind of days too. So what I did was I simply allowed myself to be sad, mad and angry for the day. I didn't feel any guilt or any shame for not feeling positive about a shit series of situations. I didn't force myself to just forget about it. I also didn't try and invalidate my feelings by, doing what we all do, which is, things could always be worse. I just wallowed in it, but I only allowed myself to do it for the day. And that was the key for me. I felt my feelings, I soaked in them, I wallowed in them, but just for the day. So what I decided to do before bed was I found myself a sadness tapping meditation. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what tapping is, it's also called EFT, and I use it all the time. It's helpful for me in various situations. It's helpful for Josh when he's struggling to go to sleep. And you're basically tapping various points on your hands and your face and your body, and it just calms you down. Now, if you want it, check it out. There's the Tapping Solution app, which is free. I think you can upgrade to unlock all of the tapping things in there. But I don't do that, because if I can get something for free instead of paying for it, I will. Cost of living crisis or not, it's just the way I am. So that's what I did before bed. I found a sadness tapping meditation and I did it. I actually used Insight Timer, which is another amazing free app. If you haven't heard of it, go and check it out. So what I did was I used that to I was tapping on how I was feeling. So what you do is you kind of tap in the sadness feelings and then you tap them out. And then to counteract that, what I did was I went on the same app. I was on Insight Timer again, and I found a high vibration positive affirmation sleep meditation to listen to. Now these things, the ones I use, are like 3 hours long. And basically what it does is, even though you're asleep, your subconscious brain is still listening. So the idea is that if you're listening to something positive, you're going to wake up in a more positive mood. Before I actually put that on, as well, I've just realised, I actually did a simple gratitude list in my head. So I thought about all of the things that I was grateful for. And it felt really hard because I was still sad, mad and angry. But as I always say, not every day is good, but there is good in every day. I just had to go and look for it. So I went to bed, I went to sleep, I used my meditation, And then the next morning I woke up and I practiced my gratitude again, because however crappy the day before was, I was still here to figure it all out. And that was something that hit home for me, because I'm part of an amazing membership. And the day before, the lovely lady who runs it, Natalie Trustdale, she had to take some time out of the membership because one of her friends had sadly passed away. And that was the big kick up the arse that I needed to figure out what I was going to do, because everything is figure outable. Everything. What I didn't do, though, was I didn't judge myself with a load of toxic positivity either. So I didn't tell myself that other people have it worse than me. I didn't tell myself that I should be grateful for everything that I have and stop moaning about stuff, because I didn't invalidate my feelings by telling myself to get a grip and just get over it. And then that got me thinking about something called shadow work. And if you haven't heard of it, don't worry. It's not a common thing, I don't think, unless you're in the journaling world or the woo-woo world. However, I am going to use the moon to help explain what it is. So, because of where the moon, the earth and the sun are all positioned, we only ever see one side of the moon, and that's the side that's lit up by the sun. So, if you imagine that this side of the moon that we see is the side that we show to people. It's our personality. It's the things we're happy to share with people. It's all the good stuff. However, there is a dark side to the moon that isn't lit up by the sun. And just because we can't see it doesn't mean that it isn't there. And that's the darker side of ourselves, the side that we keep hidden because we fear that we're going to be judged, or we feel guilt, or we feel shame over it. But you can't have the light without the dark. So you can practice your gratitude, you can use positive affirmations, you can exercise more, you can eat better, you can move more. But you can't truly live a more positive life if you don't acknowledge the darker parts of you as well. Because there's lessons to be learnt in those darker things too. So, think about how can we stop ourselves from making the same mistakes again if we never acknowledge that we've actually made a mistake in the first place? How can we make amends for our behaviour and the way it's impacted someone if we never take a step back to consider how we've made that other person feel? Now, if you want to learn more about shadow work and how to use it, then I'm going to be running a shadow work week inside my Facebook group. It's called Journaling the Woo Woo Way, and I will leave a link to it in the show notes. But I'd love to welcome you in there to teach you a little bit more about it. But what I did want to explain to you is I'm going to give you an example of how embracing something that I consider the darker side of myself led to an amazing opportunity. So if you've listened to episode 2 of the podcast, if you haven't, by the way, go and check it out, then you will have heard me talk about going to Liverpool to attend an author event. Now, that was only possible because I admitted to somebody that I like reading a certain kind of books. Now, my other half calls it book porn, which is why I didn't tell anyone, including him for quite some time, that I enjoy reading sexy, smutty, dirty books. Because I felt a bit ashamed about the fact that just like I enjoy fantasy stuff on TV and in the movies, which can be seen as more juvenile, I guess, my books I prefer to be racy. So I kept that side of myself hidden. However, the second I was brave enough to admit it to someone, they said, "Oh, me too. Have you read this one?" And it opened up a whole new world and a whole new set of conversations. So not only did I stop feeling guilty about having less conventional and more taboo, I guess, reading habits, but I've also gained an amazing experience with now a really good friend. So we went to Liverpool. We met all of these amazing, spicy book authors. And honestly, I had one of the best days I've had for a really, really long time. So, in a nutshell, because I'm conscious that this is... I'm up to 10 minutes already. So in a nutshell, what I want to remind you in this episode is that you need to embrace your dark side, tap into it more, figure out what lessons there are to be learnt from it, and don't be afraid to share the sides of you that you usually keep hidden, because you never know what awesome opportunities it's going to lead to. So today I want to talk to you about something brand new and super duper exciting that is launching on the 1st of June, and that is my brand new membership, the Moonchild membership, because I can't think of a more creative name to call it. So each month we are going to be doing a mixture of things. So every week you're going to get a journaling prompt, a gratitude prompt, an emotional check-in. Every month you're going to get a new moon video, a full moon video, and a breathe and journal session. And then on top of that, you're going to get a brand new resource every month and a library full of resources that you can use day to day. And on top of that, you'll also get the journaling masterclass, which is available separately on my website. So we start on the 1st of June. That's when doors open. I'm running a challenge inside my free group Journaling the Woo Woo Way to give you a taste of what that's actually going to look like. I will drop links in the show notes so that you can check them both out. But if you want to tap into your mental health side of things through journaling, through gratitude, through emotional check-ins, and a bit of moon magic, the Moonchild membership is for you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Little Life Lessons with me, Tasha The Moonchild. I'd love to know what resonated for you, so please do leave me a little comment if you feel called to do so. Otherwise, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.